I am Gifts of Wisdom. Today, our top headlines are, of course, starts with President Biden. President Biden President Biden signed the physical infrastructure bill, and it's really great because at least he still knows how to write. His greatest comment was it's great for bipartisanship, meaning that both the Democrats and the Republicans voted on the bill. I guess that's more important than helping us. I guess it's good that they're actually working together. Them working together, right? It's better that they're working together. But of course, nothing is for the people. Next is the human infrastructure bill is next. The human infrastructure bill is supposed to help us. I don't see anything in there that does, but they do have it estimated at $1.75 trillion. Now, this could all be added later, okay, because this is the only reparation that President Biden can do. He has one more left, and so we don't know what the final bill of this is. But one of the things I find interesting now, all of us have been around here for a while now, and have you noticed how things have really changed over the last couple years? Is trillions is the new billions, right? It's similar to like billion was the new million. All right, first, if when you it used to be when you made $100,000 that was literally like being a millionaire. So if someone reached that pinnacle, it was as if they were a millionaire, right? Then all of a sudden that isn't good enough. And there were so many people that was making $100,000 a year that you had to be a millionaire. And so then became the Millionaire Club, right? The Millionaire Club. And so, but then now, what is it? It's the Billionaire Club. And what's it going to be very soon? Well, the Trillionaire Club. So trillion is actually turning into billions. We are just basically printing $120 billion from the Federal Reserve Bank. So if we're all used to these billions and trillions, it just becomes numbers. Except one thing is true. You mean like broke is the new middle class, right? Because where it happened to the middle class? Well, inflation took it. Like poor is the new homeless. Like homeless is the new middle class. That's how close it is. And it is by this new world design that's going on. I mean, there is a new design, right? Somebody says it's an order, but I'm trying to be polite here. They're designing everything different, including us. Next up, the IRS wants $80 billion. Why do they want $80 billion? Because they want 80,000 new workers, doubling the employment of the IRS. Now, in return for you and I giving them $80 billion, what it will bring? They're saying $4 billion in audits. So they're planning on grinding every single American to be audited. This is what's going on. Now they're saying that this is just for the wealthy. But it's much easier. Think about it. If someone's wealthy, they have all these deductions, right? So it's very complicated when you do an audit. With just regular Joe, you've just got a few things down, and then they can always find $1,000. And so now they want to do the audits, but everybody's broke. So everybody's going to be audited. Pretty simple. And then, of course, the IRS, they want to let you know that they're actually for who? Not you. But that $400 billion they're stating will help pay this infrastructure bill that just came out. But now remember, there's still a surplus of stimulus money that was left from last year. Billions. I heard it was 500. They're taking that money and they're going to take our stimulus money to pay the infrastructure bill. Then the IRS is going to come grind us for $400 billion. Now, there's something wrong with that plan. According to the Congressional Budget Office, you know who the Congressional Budget Office is? They oversee the U.S. budget. They make evaluations on giving the money based on what the return is for that money. The Congressional Budget Office, been around for a long time. They're stating that the most it could generate from the IRS is $120 billion. Now, there's a big discrepancy, don't you think, between $400 billion and $120 billion from the CBO. It's like saying to someone, you know, give me $1,000 for that car, and when you pull out, it's going to be worth $50,000. What? Yeah, I'm doing you a favor. So the guy thinks, well, you know what? I'm going to go spend $1,000 and then I'm going to go sell this thing for $50,000 because this guy's an idiot for selling it to me. So he goes out, can't get even $500 for the car. He comes back and he says, you told me that yesterday when I paid you $1,000 for this car, that it was worth $50,000 when I pulled off the lot. And the guy who sold it to him, he said, well, it was worth that yesterday. I don't know what it's worth today. But I still got your $1,000 and get off my lot. So the CBO says the main is $120 billion. So what did President Biden do? Well, he completely ignored it. He said, ignore what the CBO said. I think he must have said I was taking a nap or something. But he's tripping. If he's not, of course, again, welcome to the New World Design. Next, Johns Hopkins Hospital stated that 40% of the world is now vaxxed. Now they're stating it's 40. And of course, the next thing is they're going after the ones who aren't vaxxed. So now restrictions are now coming all around the earth. I told you a little bit about Austria yesterday in the news about anyone over 12 has to be quarantined for 10 days and you can't come out and you can get a fine for up to $1,661 or 1,450 euros. Singapore is not going to cover medical bills for the unvaccinated. This is what they just came out with. German states in Germany is making it illegal to walk in a business establishment without any type of identification that you've had the vaccination. And South Wales in Australia, 16 and over are not allowed to visit another household without an exception. So these things are coming, and there's going to be more restrictions coming here. So get ready. Finally, I am looking for a sponsor. And I went out and looked, see who's got all the money. Who's got all the money? I'm looking for a sponsor. Well, Pfizer's got all the money. So, I just want to ask.
CBS Health Watch, sponsored by Pfizer. Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer. CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer. This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press data download brought to you by Pfizer. This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
News with a twist. Sponsored by... Hey, I'm asking. That's our final thought here. I want to thank Jimmy Dore for that clip, for putting that together. If you haven't watched Jimmy Dore, you need to go check out Jimmy Dore. Thank you so much. And next is coming up is the lesson of the day.